Hey everybody, have you ever wondered what a home warranty really is? And let me give you a little hint. It's not homeowners insurance. Well, today you're going to learn a lot about what home warranties are. You hear about it a lot with real estate, in the real estate world, real estate jargon. So today I want to make sure that you know as much as you can about home warranties. And today I've got somebody very special with us. She has worked in different areas that have touched on real estate her whole life. And in the last 9 years, she's worked for American Home Shield. It's the one and only Emily.Sherwood. So thanks so much for watching. I'm Jill Thomas with Berkshire Hathaway, HomeServices, Florida Realty. And today you're going to hear all about home warranties. Thanks so much for joining us today, Emily, to teach us more about home warranties.
Thank you so much for having me, Jill. I'm so excited to be here.
Well, I appreciate your time. Now let's just jump right into it. What is a home warranty?
A home warranty is a one-year service contract that's going to protect customers against the most common occurring failures of systems and appliances within the home, providing they fail due to normal wear and tear.
So I've got a chart here from you. So here are some of the typical like services, or like you were saying, appliances and systems. Can you just rattle off a few of the main components that a lot of people deal with?
Absolutely. Well, we are in sunny, hot Florida, so obviously air conditioning is our number one dispatch item always. But we also cover plumbing, electrical, hot water heaters, and of course your kitchen appliances, depending on the level of coverage you select.
Certainly. Okay. So I know when I talk to people about home warranties, and there's a bunch of different ways to tackle it, and we'll sort that out and digest that a bit. But a lot of times people think a home warranty means homeowners insurance. Can you clarify that a bit for us?
Absolutely. So homeowners insurance is going to protect homeowners against things that could happen. Catastrophic weather events, flooding events within the home. American Home Shield and home warranties cover customers against things that are going to happen, because working systems and appliances are going to fail at some point, and we're here to protect customers when those fail. Now, the two can sort of work in conjunction with one another, and I'll give you an example of that. If you have a plumbing failure where water is flooding into the home, American Home Shield would come in and fix that plumbing problem, but then the secondary damage would be handled by the homeowner's insurance.
Oh, okay. Well, that makes sense then. All right. Well, that's a really good example, because I've had people move into properties that were like maybe foreclosed on before, and even though they had an inspection and the plumbing wasn't used a lot, and then you move in with, a big family, and then that plumbing's used a lot, and there was water damage. And at that point, I think they had the homeowner's insurance, but something like American Home Shield, a home warranty, would have been very helpful in that incident. So yeah, I could see that happening for sure. Yeah. So we hear about home warranties, Emily, when it's involved with a real estate transaction. So let's first talk about the seller. How might a home warranty benefit a seller?
Good question. So there are studies done every few years or so that compare homes on the market with a warranty to homes on the market without a warranty. The results are always the same. Homes marketed with a warranty sell faster and for more money. In addition to that, giving that buyer that peace of mind, we also offer a seller coverage option to a buyer plan where we can protect the seller during the listing period. So we're saving that seller money, and that they can save their money for the house they're moving into, and help them get through the inspection period too, because things come up on inspection that you may not even be aware of.
Certainly. Yeah, that obviously it happens a lot. Now can I back it up just a bit? Because when you said a property can be marketed with a home warranty, so that means that a seller can say, all right, buyer, when you come in, if you buy my house, I will provide a 1-year home warranty for you. So the seller's providing that. And so when you say it's marketed, am I saying that correctly?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So if the seller's agreeing to provide that 1-year warranty for the buyer to sell their house faster and for more money, then they can also take advantage of our seller coverage option. For an additional $75, We even have sign writers that can go under your for sale sign that say that this home comes with a 1-year warranty.
That's awesome. And I have done that. And I know I shared with you, Emily, and let me just say this out there for you buyers, that even if when a seller does market the property like that, that it has to be in the contract though. If you don't put it in the contract, you just can't assume that you're going to get it. So make sure that your agent, the buyer's agent, is putting that in the contract, because if they fail to do that, even though the property's been marketed with one, if it doesn't show up in the contract, you're not getting that home warranty. Emily, do you see that a lot?
A lot. I see where we have seller coverage orders and they end up getting canceled because the agent says that the other agent representing the buyer didn't write it into the offer. And I'm almost certain in most of those cases, it was just an oversight on the agent's part. So yeah, buyers, make sure that your agent writes it into the offer.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, because I've seen it. So, and obviously you've seen it way more than I have. All right. So we talked a little bit about the seller. Now let's talk about the buyer, because they're the ones that's going to really use this warranty, this home warranty. So let's talk about, how does this help the buyer?
It's peace of mind. I bought 2 houses in my life. That's all. On both houses, I bought my own home warranty. On both houses, my AC was replaced. So it's a peace of mind that it gives you, that you're not going to have to shell out thousands and thousands of dollars for a new AC or for something else. And that's really painful in the beginning if you just get into the house, because, you know, it costs a lot of money to buy a house. So it's a nice protection, nice budget protection for buyers, and it gives them peace of mind.
And then let me ask you this, along kind of following that thought process. When a buyer gets a home warranty, do they have to like give you the inspection report and say like, this is how much life is left on the roof? Not so much the roof, but the AC or different components like the spa pump or anything like that? Like, how do you know how, like, what if the AC is at the end of its life, you know, and then 6 months later, you guys are covering that air conditioner? How does that work?
Another good question. We don't care. We don't care how old the system is. We don't do any type of inspection ahead of time. All we care about is it is in working order at the effective date of the warranty. We don't ask for an inspection report unless, the only way we would ever ask for an inspection report, I had one, for instance, where the hot water heater went out, exploded into the garage on the day of closing.
Oh my goodness.
So that's kind of a red flag when the person calls us on the actual closing day and has us come out for a call like that. So in that situation, we did say, can we see a copy of the inspection report? But we rarely ask for that. We cover undetectable pre-existing conditions. So the only way that our contractors would ever deny a claim is if it's very blatantly pre-existing. So that's nothing our customers have to worry about. If it's working, if it's in working order, the effective date of the warranty, they're in good shape. Covered.
Okay, that's interesting. That's really great, because obviously we do have some older air conditioning systems here, or you just never know when they're going to go kaput. You know, you think, okay, well, maybe I can get 14, 13 years out of this, and you're still at like 11 years, and for some reason, you know, it just goes out. So that's really definitely, like you said, peace of mind, I think, is the key phrase there, you know.
And inspectors love to say that it has reached the end of its life. If it's more than 7 years or so old, then they're going to say it's reached the end of its life. So the warranty helps protect that buyer and give them.
Yes, yeah, they do say that a lot. They make a lot of vague statements in those inspection reports. Now, how does the process work for that buyer? So like you said, okay, so you move into the house, you've got the home warranty in place. 3 months later, whether it's the hot water tank, the AC, you know, the oven, what does a buyer do? What does that person who holds that home warranty, how do they manage that?
So they just call us. They call us. They pay a $75 service fee. We dispatch a technician out to the home. The technician is going to diagnose the problem. We're always going to attempt to repair if a repair can be made. If not, then we will replace the failed component.
Oh, that's awesome. All right, great. So for $75, so it's not like it's free to have somebody come out, but you pay for that. You called it a service call. Is that how you referred it?
Yes.
And then, so $75 for the service call, and then from there they diagnose it. But then moving forward, it's either all free or mostly free. I'm sure there's situations where it's not, but
There could be additional out-of-pocket expense from the homeowner, and I'll give you an example. I've got one I'm working on right now where we're replacing the air conditioner, and we're going to cover all the equipment and the labor to install that replacement equipment. Well, with this situation, there are additional things that have to be done because the pedestal that the air handler was sitting on got some water damage, and our contractor is going to go ahead and take care of that, but we don't cover any type of modifications or construction that are required. So that customer is going to be out of pocket $300 for a brand new system that would have cost between $5,000 and $6,000.
Wow, that's incredible. Wow, what a savings. Okay, so just so people understand, just because you have a home warranty doesn't mean that everything is fixed for free for 12 months, you know, like, oh, okay, well, come out and fix my stuff, you know, I don't owe you anything. So there can be some expenses, but boy, what a savings. You know, that's pretty amazing. All right, and then just my final question for this episode, for this video is, what are we talking about? About how much would it cost for a home warranty for that year?
The average cost in the state of Florida is just over $550. Now, we have base plans and then we have additional options, but the average cost is just over $550. Condo coverage is much cheaper, so that brings that average cost down a little bit, I'm sure, but average cost $550.
All right, wow. So that's really reasonable, especially when you think about buying, having to replace an air conditioning system, or if you have, you know, multiple failures on appliances or other systems as well. Well, Emily, this was very enlightening, and I hope this helped those who are watching. I appreciate your time today, and I'm going to have all of Emily's contact information, you know, in the comments, you know, so that'll be accessible to all of you. So if you are interested in talking about home warranties in greater detail, call Emily. Don't call me. I don't know. Because you know what I'll be doing? I'll be calling Emily. So you can
feel free to call me.
Call Emily and say, hey, I watched your video with Jill. I need help. So ask her the questions. Please don't ask me. As much as I'd love to help you, but I will be calling Emily then on your behalf, which is fine too, if you'd rather have that. But thank you so much, Emily, for joining me today. So again, this is Emily.Sherwood with American Home Shield and Jill Thomas with Berkshire Hathaway Home Services, Florida Realty. Oh, and we're gonna be doing a second follow-up video, so hang tight and watch for that next video to come out. All right, thanks so much, Emily, I appreciate it.
Thank you, Jill.